Hey Libra, welcome to your June 2019 Blue Jay Calls Tarot General Read. That's right, General Read. So take the messages that help you find inner balance and peace. Leave what doesn't help you find that balance alone. It's not a message for you. It's a general read. It's not going to apply to everyone. Let's get going on the energy of June. So I drew these cards and laid them out, and we're going to go through and read the story. I'm not in my normal place, so I don't get to throw cards as I'm going along. So the first card I drew is the Devil. So there may be, this is your current energy. Current energy may be tied to something you don't want to be tied to. You're stuck in it. And that situation, as it unfolded, did not look very great. On one side we had like cruelty and this overbearing force. On the other side, we had death, 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 and in the end result of all this current energy was the Nine of Swords. So more death and destruction. The devil's involved in this. There may be some really difficult situation that you're going through, and an ending is going to happen. But let's see what happens after this ending. We wind up with the Five of Pentacles. So there's toil and there's loss, and you're walking away from something. But you've sought high wisdom, and as a result, what's coming in for you is a lot of options. There may be some level of illusionary success with that, but I'd say this situation here didn't have success with it, so you may have already exasperated that. With the many, many options, you're going to feel like you are stagnant and balanced, but sort of discontent with the fixed aspect of whatever condition you select until you see the sun. And that sun, that illumination from the sun, that strength from the sun, helps you redevelop your hopes, dreams, and wishes. And as you're going through that, you wind up with a tower moment. So there's a big decision to make, there's choices. This may be around this devil energy. And on one side, we have the Queen of Swords, who's truthful, charming. On the other side, we had the Queen of Wands, who's adaptable and sympathetic. Both of them are powerful queens, and the Tower moment is going to relate to potentially how you decide to balance that energy. This may be, if you're masculine, you may be looking to balance your feminine sides and deciding between being truthful and charming and somewhat cutting and say adaptable or sympathetic like the Queen of Wands. If you're a female, similarly, might be balancing your feminine energy to get to that point of being able to use that energy right around this Tower moment and whatever this devil energy is. The Seven of Pentacles is all about success, toil, but there's some layer of deception and left behind. It's just work, if you will. So you're going to be putting in the work. Now, what's unknown to this situation? I pulled the King of Swords and the Empress. So the King of Swords is this powerful, somewhat aggressive individual. The Empress is the ultimate divine feminine, if you will, who's in her power and whatnot. And I asked, like, how do we get from this Tower situation to this King of Swords and Empress? And I got the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is all about proposals and material gain and realizing things. But there's some level of stubbornness in this balance between this King of Swords and Empress energy. So you may have some stubbornness in addressing the proposals of change you want to make in yourself. You may have situations outside of yourself where the proposal has encountered some stubbornness and it's preventing it from getting to completion. I'm looking at a king and basically the ultimate queen and the empress, so there's a balancing of the masculine and feminine forces, and I'm assuming that'll move you forward into something good. So yeah, some proposals coming in, there's balance and stubbornness around these kings and queens. So I asked, what's unknown to this situation? And I got the Emperor, Perfected Work, and the Magician. So this may be somebody who's in the process of transforming themselves to get to their own perfected work, who's outside of you, because it's unknown to you. This may be an aspect of yourself that you're working on perfecting, as we noticed over here with these cards here, and deciding which type of queen you want to be. But in this perfected work, there's an absence and heartache around messages of love and being graceful and poetic. So this might be your own King of Cups internally, where you're not sending yourself the right sort of loving messages. The recommendation from the cards is temperance, and if you have too much overbearing force, you're going to wind up with a lot of loss and treachery. So that's the caution on this side of the cards. If you encounter some absence and heartache, make sure you're sending yourself solid messages of love, you're being balanced in yourself. Otherwise, you might become an overbearing force to yourself and wind up in a situation of treachery. Now, I did have this thought that if this was outside of you, you might be meeting up with somebody who's actually already in a perfected work situation, only they're in separation. And so you find yourself on one side of the coin. We have action and movement with a Knight of Cups, so some graceful poetic movement towards a Nine of Cups. So sort of crowning this situation is there's going to be some messages and movements to yourself or to others or coming into you related to a perfected work, messages of love, and a Nine of Cups. And the person sending those messages has got some absence and heartache situation that they're involved in some layer of treachery. What's the final outcome here in all of this stuff if everything remains the same? The Hermit, so taking time to seek your inner wisdom will avoid those treacherous situations potentially, but I mean, seeking your inner wisdom is always good to do to balance your masculine and feminine sides. You'll get a victory with the Seven of Wands. You'll cut something off with the Page of Swords wisely and with determination. And walking away from that, Eight of Cups, that whatever that situation is, will move you to your hopes, dreams, and wishes, as we saw before, like moving away that illusionary success in the earlier energy. On the bottom of the deck is a strength card, so underneath it all, you have a huge, vast reservoir of strength, and it's a great time to use it if you find yourself challenged by heartache and absence situations or with a lot of different offers that only provide illusionary success. That's what I got for you this month, Libra. Have a great month, and we'll see you in July.